Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Snakes on the Plains. Today I thought that I'd show off our collection in its entirety, save for two snakes that are unfortunately secret projects and we cannot show off at this time, but hopefully down the road. I want to tell you a little bit about each morph and kind of where our projects are going with that individual, as long as it's not the secret project of course, and also their personality, because to us these guys are family, we love them to death, and we want you guys to be sort of following them and hopefully getting to know their personalities as we go down this adventure and this new hobby of ours. So the first one we want to show off is kind of our pride and joy. It's our Hurricane Boy. He came from Germany, and unfortunately he has decided recently that he does not want to eat, so we won't have him out for too long. Just because we don't want to stress him out any more than he already is. We've tried live, we've tried mice, we've tried everything. He seems to like mice, so we might have to switch him to that, unfortunately. However, we did just get him back onto rats, and then he stopped again. So he's down about 40 grams, so nothing too worrying yet for his amount, for his gram size. As long as he doesn't drop more, than we're going to be okay. But as you can see, he's a bit triangle shaped, and we're just really trying to keep him from any sort of malnutrition state. Although it is healthier for ball pythons to grow slower, it is not healthy for them to be starved. He's definitely not starved. He's taking a meal at least every 15 days, but I would prefer for him to take a meal at least every 10 days, and that is at the very least. So again, not trying to stress this guy out. We do not know if maybe he's getting close to the 1,000 gram mark when he started doing this, if maybe that is why he started not eating. However, that is more of a female thing. When females get close to 1,000 grams, sometimes they hit the 1,000 gram wall, which they just feel uncomfortable because they're starting to develop follicles and for the first time, and they don't want to eat because they're uncomfortable. He is definitely a male. I've seen it firsthand, so I don't really know why that would be a thing unless he is uncomfortable with this new size. Another thing could be possibly, tub size, which we've explored, and that hasn't helped out either. I've even tried moving him from one rack to another rack to seeing if that would help, and that hasn't done anything for him either. So honestly, what I think it is when they hit 400 grams, I put them in with a female one time, once a month. And if I don't see anything, or if the female sits on them, immediately I take them out. And if not, then I wait 3 days, and then they go another month or until they've gained exponential amounts of weight, usually around like 100 more grams, and then try them again. And I just seem to have better luck with males, and then you really know if one of them is sexually mature or not. And I don't know if that caused him to go off feed. He was paired with a male, or with a female, when he was getting close to 600 grams, and ever since then he's had a hard time moving forward. And so that could have been why. It could just be because this is his first winter here, and maybe his male instincts are starting to kick in, but he's not zooming around his cage like I would normally expect him to be. And he's just really not showing interest in mating. He just wants to sit in his little hide and just sulk in sadness and dreary. Isn't that right, Jupiter? So this is Jupiter the Hurricane. I'll quickly show off some of his awesome patterning. You can just see those alien heads are sort of blown out, kind of like what you would see in GHI. However, he's not as dark as GHI. He seems to be more of like a chocolatey color almost. Sorry that the camera's not focusing exactly. There we go. So yeah, more of a chocolatey color almost, but you gotta love those swirls. This is an incomplete dominant gene, so it does have a super form where almost all of the swirls look like this one right here. Very neat and very tidy swirls just all the way down the body. Even the eye band in some of these snakes is swirled as well. And I'm not sure if we can get his head focus, but you can see on the neck there, those the neck or the dorsal is very broken up as well, and his eye band is semi-swirled which is exciting because he probably will produce some of the Hayabusas that we're looking for with the tight swirls. But anyways, this is Jupiter, and we're gonna put him back just so that we don't cause him any extra stress, and hopefully he'll take his meal this week for us. The next snake in our collection is Arky. Now this is Arky in shed. She is a super pastel. She's normally way more bright, and I normally wouldn't be bugging her right now, but I thought it would be fun to see the contrast between her in shed versus her just shed. So I'll update that, and it'll be instantaneous for you guys, but it might be a few days for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten her out of her enclosure, but she decided to get in her water and spill it all over, so I had to get her out anyways, and I thought I'd do a quick little cameo of her for you guys in shed then. And so you can just see, I think that she's really pretty, super pastel. She has so much blushing, especially on the sides and on the dorsal, and her head is just like incredibly blushed out at the top when she is obviously not in shed. So she is our biggest snake, just a sweetheart. I've never had her hiss at me or had any issues with her ever. She's a pretty good feeder, except when she's in shed. Just a killer personality on this lady, really. 5 pounds and just a monster, honestly. Makes me a little nervous handling her, not because I'm afraid to get bit, but because the bigger snakes need, you know, a little bit more support, because I don't want to hurt her. I don't want to accidentally, you know, wrench her back, just because she has so much extra weight on her, especially right now, as hopefully she's gravid. We've seen her lock a few times with our Sulphur Mojave male, and she's had a Super Fire at the same time lock with her. So fingers crossed for some really cool stuff. If the hurricane gets old enough this season, then hopefully we'll have some pastel hurricanes. That's what we're really hoping for. But you know, whatever happens, happens. We're just really happy to have this girl. Alright, and this is Arky, all fresh shed and everything. So just as normal with fresh sheds, she's very pale, very bright. So she's not her normal super yellow self. Instead, she's more of this like goldish, whitish, brownish color. She is an older super pastel. That's why she's a little darker than what you'd normally see, and not exactly what I would call the greatest, most beautiful quality in the world. But I still really like her pastel because of just how blushed out this dorsal is, and along the sides here. She just could not get any more beautiful in my mind. Oh, going around the tripod there. She's quite the adventurer, and really sweet girl, like I said before. We're very happy to have her, so here she is, all shut out for you guys. Now I apologize for this next snake that you guys are about to see, as he is not gonna hold still for a darn. I can almost guarantee it. But this right here is Moto. He is a stud with the ladies, and he is all revved up and ramped up and ready to go find them. So he is going to be cruising around like crazy right now trying to get them. He's been all over his cage, and unfortunately he has some stuck shed in the same place that Arky did, for the sole fact that it is our first winter in this apartment, and I was not sure about how the humidity was going to go, and unfortunately the humidity dropped very quickly, and I wasn't able to go out and get a humidifier until recently. So now this room's humidity is a lot better, and his shed actually would probably come off if I just rubbed it. I'm not too worried about it at all, but I'm not gonna just try to go and help him when he can get it off in his next shed. But we got Moto from a good friend of ours in town. He was talked up a lot about just how well of a proven male he was, and how amazing he just got the ladies, which we really needed, especially with one of ours. I have yet to see a confirmed lock with her. It's been really close, but it might have been a dry lock. And he is just, of course, like I said before, just ready to go. I love him. I do not normally care for Mojave combos, but he's he's just glowing. I mean, the keyholes that he has right here on the side where his alien heads don't really look so much like this, but they look more like just a single hole right there, are just really beautiful. He almost looks ghost-like to me, which the camera isn't picking up too well. He is just glowing, all the time glowing, and an incredible eater. Hasn't gone off feed or anything for us, so we're really thankful about that. Just a really great, fun guy. Very energetic. Oh my gosh. We are very thankful to have this guy in our breeding projects. Hopefully he'll make some sulfur bells for us. And we couldn't be happier with what we've seen so far from him, and hopefully what we're going to see more from this guy. So this is Moto Moto, the Mojave Sulfur. Alright. Ooh, yeah. The next snake we have for you guys is Sir Monty Python. This is my boyfriend's first snake, and as you can tell, he named him. There's quite a big difference between how we name snakes. And as you just heard, he is sassy. He's the only one to ever tag me. He's a lot of talk and very little bite, but he is a runner, man. He never likes to sit still. It stresses him out completely, so I'm definitely going to be putting him back. He's not a shy guy, but he lets you know when he's not in the mood to be held and when he would just rather be looking for ladies. He's definitely been more active, been semi on food, and getting over 800 grams, almost 900 grams now. He is on the prowl for women, and so he should be going back in. It's not quite a month yet for his due date to go back in with a lady, but hopefully soon he will. So this is a Mojave pewter, so that's cinnamon, pastel, and Mojave. You can just see how clean his belly is. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Along with that just golden coloring. He seems to be getting darker along the sides but lighter on the dorsal, which is just so awesome. And his head is just this beautiful reddish color. I'm gonna see if we can get his eyes. We might just have to take my word for it that they're this beautiful blue color. Let's see if we can get his eyes to you guys. Alright, and there you guys hopefully can kind of get a glimpse of just those beautiful, gorgeous blue eyes. A lot of the bell complexes seem to have really light color eyes, and at the very tip or the very top of their eyes it gets just a little brighter. Let's see if we put him under his body, if he maybe feels a little bit more comfortable with us. And again, I don't want to restrain him because reptiles feel pain in a very different way than we do. It's almost more of like a pressure. So I don't mean that pressure is pain to them, it's just discomfort. Beautiful, beautiful eyes. And his colors are so different, ranging from blacks to light yellows all the way to like this golden, just beautiful color, and then the purest, whitest belly ever. So he's gonna be making some awesome snakes with us. I kind of talk about in his hopefully one of his pairings is going to be with our lithium. I talk about more of what that can produce when we get to her, and we're very excited about him. Otherwise, if we put him with our super pastel girl, there can be some super pastel cinnamons and super pastel cinnamon Mojaves. So this guy, but with extra gene, extra copy of that pastel. So I'm gonna put him back before he gets even more stressed out. So the last snake I'm going to show you guys today is in shed again. So I apologize, I totally forgot this guy was in shed at the start of this video, and totally fine. I'll update this again when he is out of shed. Now it might just look like a normal to you guys, but in fact he is a mahogany. Super awesome gene, one of the most exciting ones, at least one of the most ones that I'm excited to be working with, and it's really making a comeback. He is one of the most shy snakes I've ever seen. He really hated getting fed frozen thawed for the longest time. I've finally gotten him on it because he likes it being wiggled around, and then you drop the rat right in front of his hide. He peeks his head out very slowly, and in about 2 to 5 minutes he'll just strike it and coil it, and then he'll eat it. Strangest thing in the world, but I guess he likes his frozen thawed cool and not warm and not moving. So whatever works, right? Strange guy. He has the world's littlest tongue, just kind of blips out whenever he feels comfortable, which is absolutely adorable. His tongue never comes out all the way, and as you can see, those eyes are just milky, milky, milky. Unfortunately for this poor guy, I'm not going to have him out too much longer because he would be one of the few ones that would get stressed out very easily. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but down his spine right here, you'll be able to see easier when he sheds. That is all scarring at the top of his dorsal, and from what, I don't know. I got him from a friend of mine, the same person I got Moto from, and she never knew either, and she only has belly heat, and so this would have to come from someone who maybe had a heat lamp or a CHE, and he got too close to that. So this is Slag, if I didn't already drop his name, and Slag is just a sweetheart. Ooh, sorry buddy. Very shy, but a sweetheart. Been gaining weight great, been getting up there. I think he's 3 years old, but he hasn't shown any interest in breeding, and I'm really hoping that changes soon, because I would love to see some pastel mahoganies, maybe even a lesser mahogany would be something I would really like to keep and hold back, especially to get some like lesser sumas or pastel sumas. Really just a suma in general would be great, but again, that'll be something down the road. Maybe even introducing him to a pied. Hopefully he will show some kind of interest in females, because 3 years old, one would assume he would be hopefully sexually mature. Okay, so this is Slag after he shed out. His enclosure is right next to us. Sorry about that, but I just got it clean. And he is a mahogany. To the untrained eye, he may look like a normal, but as you can see, a lot of these alien heads on the side, like this one right here above my pinky, actually look more like this one now above my pinky, which is just like a circle, or some of them look like figure eights, and that is because it's just the mutation that the gene has. It's very different looking alien heads, very different pattern. Again, he does have that scarring along his dorsal that makes him look that way, but this is him after shed. Please note the orange coloration of his head here, as it is another, I mean, you're wiggly today, huh? Can I get a good hold on you? As it is an indication of the mahogany gene. However, that really doesn't become very apparent until they get older, like him. He seems to be great. He does have a small tongue, and I don't know if that is genetic or not, but we'll find out by breeding him. It just doesn't pop out all the way. That might just be an injury that he has or some sort of neurological problem, but it hasn't stopped him from feeding or anything. And also another mahogany, I guess you could say cue of the gene, or visualization of the gene. See if we can get him right there. Awesome. Is the back portion of the tail right here is quite blocky, if you can see that. You can see it on the other side as well. So that is Slag, and as you can see, he is ready to go back in his cage. He's ready for a mouse now that he is, or a rat actually, now that he has shed out. And I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing him, so thanks so much. The next snake that we have for you guys is a Superfly. Now, he might look a little bit less yellow as I'm seeing on the camera right now. He is absolutely neon yellow. This snake is amazing. Every time I see him, I'm blown away by his looks. Just like the white contrast down his spine to the neon yellow as it comes out on his sides and slowly fades up to the top, and then that head where it's just almost bald looking on top, and a near scaleless look from afar, just because of how blushed out that face is right there, is just so cool. Now he's my boyfriend's snake, so of course he has another really goofy, awesome name. So this is Marty McSuperfly, giving some homage to the Back to the Future series. Now he's always been a really shy snake, and we've actually seen great improvement with him in the past few months. He came with Arky, and he is a live eater. He's the only one that has never taken frozen thawed for us, which is fine. He eats live basically religiously, never really has an issue with it unless he's in shed. Otherwise, he maybe has missed like 2 or 3 meals for us ever, so he's a really great snake. But he's been super shy. When I first did our opening video, which you can find on our channel, he did not want to even slightly stick around for that. He was just stressed, he was flying off the table, he was acting very, very, very scared, but he wasn't striking, he's never hissed or anything. He just was getting sort of close to being prolapsed. He was so stressed. And now you can see he's really calmed down. He doesn't really mind being handled. He's actually done a professional photo shoot and was really, really great with that. And he's just so fun to have. Here's his belly. If you guys are curious, you can see how that pattern fades out way before it hits the belly on the sides here. So every time, this boy and Arky will never produce a normal. There will at least be pastel in everything that they produce. So we're hoping that if the Hurricane isn't ready to go with our secret project, this guy will be. And he's actually starting to be brave enough to try out his luck with the ladies, and he's one of the only ones that's gotten our super crabby female. That's our super, our super crabby female. That is our secret project. Unfortunately, she's not a super. That would be awesome if she was. And he has been close to getting the super pastel. So we're really hoping that this guy kind of amps up his game. He is not proven, so this is the first year that we've actually seen and proved him out, which is going to be really fun. So hopefully we can do that for him. So most of us have an animal and or animals that started it all for us, and this is the guy that did it for me. This is Dorian, and he is a beautiful normal. I hope to someday get a visual recessive and breed him to that, so that we have, you know, some hets that we can keep his lineage going. He was a sort of a rescue. My professor rescued him from a pet store that was closing, and so all the snakes were going to be put down that were in the pet store, and instead he took them from them. I think there was 96 ball pythons, and put them up for adoption for free to the students of our school. So we all went and we got care sheets and we took one if we wanted one, and I ended up with him. Couldn't be happier. I've never tried to look if he has anything else in him. I've always just thought he was a beautiful looking normal, and I'm content with that, honestly. He's a sweetheart. I've used him for education, getting Boy Scouts merit badges and all sorts of things. My best friend, who I've been neighbor to and lived with since we were 3 years old, she has been afraid of snakes her whole entire life, and because of this guy, she's no longer afraid of snakes and feels confident and comfortable handling him. And he's checking out my hand there because I've been holding all the other males, and he wants in on some action. Not this year, buddy, I'm sorry. The only thing that I would even think about pairing him to would be our super pastel, but then the only thing that would come out of that clutch would be pastels, possibly pastels dinker if I thought this guy, dinkers if I thought this guy was a dinker. Unfortunately, I don't think so. I think he's just normal, and I guess that's not really an unfortunate thing, because he's just really, really awesome. He's never been shy, he's never been spooked easily, he's never been one to refuse a meal. As I say, I've never been spooked easily, and you get spooked by my hand that smells like mail, huh? But he's just been my buddy. If I ever want to, you know, just hang out with a snake out in my living room, he's definitely the one that I'll just go and grab. He'll hold me with his tail at the end of his tail on my hand, and he'll slither underneath one of my pillows. He'll fall asleep there. At least I think he falls asleep, because he doesn't move for hours, and I'll just sit next to him as he just chills out there next to me, and it's just kind of like a buddy thing. I'm sure it's not the most amazing and exciting thing for him, but he must not be that traumatized or that stressed out if he just kind of chills out there. So you can see that his alien heads are a little blown out on the sides. Nothing too crazy there. He has a couple keyholes. Oh, sorry, I'm up here. A couple keyholes here and there, and then some flaming down his sides right here, as well as blushing on the dorsal. But when push comes to shove, I think he's just a beautiful normal with a killer personality, and honestly, I'm really happy to have him. He is one of the 2 snakes that we have microchipped. For him, it wasn't really something that I could pick or choose. It was just something that they were like, hey, if you're going to adopt this snake from us, we need you to have him microchipped for plenty of other reasons. Legally, it is illegal for me to sell him, trade him, or even get rid of him. I would have to give him back to my professor if I ever was going to get out of the hobby or something like that. So I'm stuck with him for the rest of my life, and I'm quite content with that. We're gonna be buddies forever, right, Dorian? So yeah, this is the little guy that got us started. I'd love to see your snakes that got you into the hobby. Feel free to share links in the comments below to them, or show me on Instagram in a private message. I just would love to get more involved with you guys. This little girl is our newest ball python. She doesn't have a name yet, so please comment below what you think her name will be or should be. She is absolutely gorgeous. She is a little bit afraid of things, not so much fight or flight, but more of the average ball python rolls up into a ball and just tries to wait out the predator that way. So when we first got her, unfortunately, when she was sent to us, the packaging and everything was pretty well done. The only problem was there was only one heat pack. There should have probably been two, although she was coming from a place where it was 80 degrees, and then she came here to Nebraska where it was almost below freezing. It was like, it was mid-30s when she arrived, and unfortunately she just was stone cold. And when I took her out, I started doing an unboxing video, which I never will post because it's just terrible. She was unresponsive for the first couple minutes until I finally saw her tongue flick out really slowly, wiggle a little tiny bit, and then come in. Just the most sluggish thing I've ever seen. She was belly up, and I was sure she was dead until I saw that tongue flick. So I quickly tried to warm her up very slowly. Don't want to shock her system, and after that she started moving around normally, and several days later she took her first meal. She's been doing great, made a full recovery, as you can see. However, she is a little bit picky about her food, but I'm starting to figure her out. Just gotta get to know her personality and everything. So she is a Lemon Blast GHI, so that's obviously GHI, and then also Pinstripe and Pastel. I picked her out because I really liked her pastel line. It might not be the most yellow pastel in the world, but you can see the blushing along the bottom right here, and the dorsal is quite nice. She probably will brown out a little bit around there as she ages. But what I really liked was that head. That head is so blushed out and white, and that gives me a lot of promise for what kind of quality pastel she's gonna throw, and we're really looking forward to that. She's just golden. She's our third golden snake, and I couldn't be happier with her. Beautiful girl. Now, she was obviously just born this year, so she has a lot of growing up to do until she starts throwing some eggs for us, but that's totally fine. We're just excited to have her here and have her being healthy. Now, with most Pinstripe combos, she has that pure white belly. Even though she has that GHI darkening her up and scattering the pattern, that belly is just snow white. Love it. Absolutely love it. One of these days I'll definitely do a video going deep into each one of the morphs that we have and their genetics and what they hold, but I'd kind of like to do that after I've had a clutch with them, so I can show you guys what happens when you cross them and the specifics of each gene. So stay tuned for that, and let me know if you have any other suggestions about that video or other videos that you'd like to see as well. Alright, now this setup might look familiar to you guys, as I just did this for a sort of unboxing video. I say unboxing because he didn't really come from a box. He actually just was picked up locally and then I took him home. But anyways, moving on to the point, this is our new clown. I literally just got him home, and so I thought, well, might as well add him to our collection video. We don't have a name for him yet, obviously, so please, if you have any name suggestions, drop them in the comments below. As far as personality goes, I don't know him that well. I've only been with him for about an hour, and he seems to be really, really well natured and hasn't even hissed or anything. Just very, very roll up into a ball kind of guy. He did take some nice pictures for me, so that was really cool. But we're just really excited to have him. Now, the clown gene that you see right here is a recessive gene, so that means he has to have 2 copies of the recessive gene to show that gene, to be a visual clown. So that's called being a homozygous. You can kind of think of it like a super pastel, like our super pastel Arky. She has 2 copies of the pastel gene, and so that's why she looks different and is brighter and everything than other pastels, because she's a super form. Now, they don't call visual recessives super forms, they simply call them homozygous or visual recessives. So that's what this guy is. So that means every single time that we breed him, he will be passing on a copy of the clown gene. So everything that, even if I just bred him to a normal, he would, or all the offspring would be 100% heterozygous for clowns. So that means if we bred those 2 or 2 of the offspring from his clutch together, you have the possibility of creating a visual clown. So it's pretty great stuff, and I think we're gonna get him put away just because he's had a hard day already. So this is our Lithium, and she is in shed as well also. I just had her out for a different video, so I figured I might as well show her to you guys. You can see she's quite crabby. She doesn't want to be touched. Well, to be expected for her. She's a very awesome snake, just can be a little hissy and likes to put on a show, but never really follows through with it. I received her as a birthday present, and I couldn't be more thrilled. She was the first adult that we had here at Snakes on the Plain. So Lithium, I guess I didn't clarify, that is butter/lesser. Butter and lesser are the same gene, and cinnamon as well. So some really interesting pairings with her this year. We've had a Superfly, we've had a Mojave Sulfur, which I'm really hoping for some bells, or maybe even a sulfur bell if I can tell the difference. It's kind of hard with the all white snake. And yeah, we've thrown in a mahogany with her a few times, but I haven't seen anything for sure. Another really interesting pairing that we've had this year with her, but we haven't seen any locks with, is our Pewter Mojave. Now, he's just a little guy, and you'll see him out here in a little bit. He's about 800 grams, so he's just getting up to what we would say would be, you know, possible breeding size, but it's all about maturity, and he is only a year old, so he might not be ready to go, in which case, totally fine. We'll just keep growing him up and hope that next year he'll feel like it. And why that one is so interesting is because he has cinnamon and she has cinnamon, and so what could end up happening is we could create an all black snake being a super cinnamon, or an all white snake being a bell, and then of course mixtures of the genes as well. So I am not a huge fan of super cinnamon, but it just kind of happened to be that way. We might continue pairing them, we might not. It really just depends on how my boyfriend and I decide to approach and continue the this project, because super cinnamon can have some fatalities. The gene itself creates a lot of, or possible, I shouldn't say a lot, it creates possible kinks and possible duck billing where the face is wider, which can cause some eating problems. However, I have heard that duck billing really doesn't affect the babies as much as, of course, kinks do, because kinking is when the spine gets fused in a certain way. Sometimes it is so terrible that the snake is just twisted in all different ways, and there's absolutely no way that it could ever eat or live a normal life, so unfortunately the babies have to be put down. But that's not saying that all super cinnamons are like that, but it is a possibility. That's why I'm not a huge fan of it. But we'll just see what goes on. A lot of butts there, sorry. So yes, this is Croakia. I'll update this video when she becomes or goes through her shed cycle, which will be really cool for you guys. Hopefully to see her. She has some really interesting markings, like her head stamp and a couple of really cool single scales that are just darker than others around her body. And we'll hopefully be able to capture those and show those to you. it happened. So this is Croakia. This is Croakia shed. You can see a very significant difference from the snake you saw last time. She is golden, just like her name in Latin means golden. She is amazing. I love her so much. I can't even tell you guys. She has a little bit of aspen on her head. Let's see if I can blow it off. There we go. She's a little bit upset since I got her weight today, and we'll be introducing the male today. She also didn't take her rat last night because she still was in shed. Normally she eats when she's in shed, so I thought I'd try it, but I'm not too worried about her. She's actually looking rather thick. Oh yeah, hiss. Oh, rather thick along the last third of her body. So I probably will just feed her in the next couple days again after we get this male out of there. Hopefully she is starting to maybe glow. I don't know. I'm not very good at telling this. I would think that there would be a more dramatic difference in the dorsal if she was glowing, and they glow before they lay eggs. But I don't really see that enough for me to say that she is, and I'm too new to it. So she's just a really great snake. Very nice and kind, and not hissy when she's not ovulating, when she's growing follicles. You can see how big she is now, and she's crabby, rightfully so. I do not blame her one teeny tiny bit. Just an absolutely beautiful snake though. Love her to death. She has a really cool heart. Let's see if I can get her to allow me to show you guys. And here is her heart that she has on her tail. I have some really cool pictures of that. Love it to death. Love taking pictures of it probably too much, just because it's like, it's so perfect. And then she has a couple really weird pigmented areas that normally shouldn't be pigmented, or at least I don't think should be pigmented on her. So let's zoom into those. So I'm going to try to control her and make her move as less as possible. But right here on the back of her neck, you can see, oh, it's okay. I know, you're just crabby, right? You can see that there's this spot right here when I first got her, I was like, oh my gosh, she has a tick. That's not a tick. It's just one scale that is different colored than the other, and she has a couple of them. They're almost like freckles, I would say, like almost reminds me of the banana gene, but they're just single scales all around the top portion of her neck. And then I don't know if her odd head stamp might be like a residual oh gosh, help. Residual scarring or something, but if I can hopefully zoom in to see that head stamp right there, and I'll try to get a picture of it after this. It looks very strange, and it's very different if it actually is a head stamp at all, but again, it might just be scarring. So I'm gonna let her be a little bit, because she's definitely been an awesome sport with all this, and I'm just being a bully and kind of bossing her around throughout this whole thing. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed seeing our collection. I really enjoyed showing you all, and if you guys have any questions, or possibly if you see that, you know, maybe you're watching this video a couple months or years after when it was posted, in the description below you can go to our website, and our website should have a complete collection list. Sometimes I don't get pictures of the new snakes in there until after quarantine, just because the photo booth that I have is inside the snake room. And if you guys would like to take a look at that, that's there. Any availability lists are also listed there, and a lot of really cool photos and combos will be posted there, as well as we start to produce those. So again, really want to thank you guys for watching our videos. Thank you so much. I could not do this without all of your guys' support, and she appreciates it because you guys help fund her rats, and I appreciate it because you allow us to make these amazing creatures and their amazing morphs, and I just love seeing you guys get excited about it, and love seeing them being sent off to other people, and it's just an amazing community. I can't say enough good things about it. Very passionate about it.